All right. Hello, GDQ Games Committee. We are the 6 people who will be running Powerwash Simulator Spongebob DLC for you today. Right to left, we have.
Stop spraying me. I'm Acadial. I'm the person who introduced this game to this group, and my eternal penance is running it at GDQ.
All right.
I'm Angelic Knight, host, and hopefully not Sean Colors. You don't have desync this time.
Okay.
I am B, also known as Bullets.
I'm Big Law, and I'm a bubble-blowing baby, because we're using soap this time.
And I'm Enigma, and I thought we were doing the Savage raid, but this works too.
And I'm Emerlin. So, we're going to be doing the Spongebob DLC, which is 6 levels. 5 of them are fairly straightforward, and then one of them is completely just awful. It's a very difficult level, which is weird to say about a power washing DLC time. But if everyone wants to go ahead and get set up, we can get going. During the run, much like the last one, we'll be just showing 2 perspectives. But for this submission, we're only doing 1 video just because it's fairly straightforward. Angelic will probably be the other person streaming, depending on various things. But throughout the run, people will be commentating about their side. You won't be able to see it because it'll just be my perspective, but I'll try to look at whatever they're doing.
Scaffold's free.
If everybody's ready, we'll go ahead and start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Powerwash Sim, much like the last time, is a game about cleaning mess. You'll notice that this run is slightly different from the first one in a couple of ways. First off, we're not using the trident. It's because the SpongeBob DLC for some reason does not give us the trident. The other thing is that things are actually dinging on time, and you can see everybody moving correctly and in sequence with each other. This is again because we're not using the trident. For some reason, that nozzle causes a massive amount of desync, and here we're just 6 people with a regular power washer, and everything works as it should, which has the added benefit of Angelic not having to play the shot caller role. She can actually just focus on spraying instead of telling us what to do at the very end of levels.
Yeah, less staring at the iPad, more blasting the scum.
There's one slight downside being off-host, which is that stuff will appear complete, but not actually ding as complete. You just have to make sure you see the ding.
Yeah, sometimes you just have someone else come over and do it a once-over if something's dirty on their end and not on your end. So, there is still some communicating. There is always some funkiness with this game, but not nearly as much where we're replaying stuff like a minute behind like before. So, it's nice in that way. We definitely can just split up on our own responsibilities and have a better gauge of what's going on.
Yeah. So, like last time, the first level is pretty easy. This is unironically one of the more involved levels, but it's not like difficult dirt to clean. It's all just pretty much regular dirt. So we're not really having to be too precise about what we clean or being very specific about the areas.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Enigma and I cleaning Patrick's house, we're just kind of spraying all over.
Yeah. The nice thing with this level is there's the 3 different houses, so it very easily just kind of splits up into 2 people in each house, and Patrick's house is a lot easier than the other 2, so once they're done with that, they can come over, and whichever one of us is still struggling the most with it, we can kind of chip in there, and however ends up working for that.
Yeah, usually Squidward's house is the one I go to next, just because it's the biggest and the most complicated.
Yeah.
Some really nasty angles, especially on the face.
Yeah, SpongeBob's house also does have some intense nooks and crannies with the pineapple pieces, like the let me just need to name the panels. They have a lot of tight angles that you need to approach, and they can be a bit tricky, but not too bad.
primarily the overfold on the leaves, which is what I'm dedicated to on the start of level.
Patrick's house is done. So, the other thing you're going to see in this run that you didn't see in the last run is we're going to use a lot more extensions than last time. So we used the trident in the last one, which is just 3 red nozzles stapled together. But in this one, we only have access to the solo red nozzle and the yellow nozzle, and generally people tend to switch between the two of those, depending on whatever they're cleaning and whether they need to be really precise with it. Like, for example, here, I'll switch to the red nozzle just to get these little bits right here. The nozzle's not working. There we go. And again, the other benefit to not causing massive amounts of desync for ourselves with the trident, that all of us can move the equipment. So if one of us needs to move the scaffold to a different place, we don't have to wait for Angelic to do it. We can simply reach over, grab it, and put it where we need to.
Yeah, before there was always the possible issue of you grabbing it and then you're stuck with it forever until you quit out or until the level's over.
Yeah, it's just waiting on the host to actually like catch up to you, the player, so you can get stuck for minutes at a time, which is not good.
Not good for a speedrun.
So like we said, this is one of the longer levels, and then the next levels are all extremely short. Thankfully.
It is 6 levels, capped off on either end with 2 fairly long levels.
The Krusty Krab is slightly involved, but we'll talk about that when we get there. It's not as bad as it seems. Alright.
Okay, so SpongeBob.
Cool. How do we have the bubble stand as the one left? Alright.
All right,
Happens.
good job.
That's Conch Street, as it's stated in the game. The other benefit, again, no desync, is Angelic can just load us straight into the next level.
And you don't have to kick every single person out like we did previously.
And we can
Did
just
not
start
watch the
spraying
previous one?
immediately. This is the rock bottom bus. Again, nothing too complicated. All the dirt is pretty straightforward here. This one does come with a couple of tricky angles. The portholes on the side need to be cleaned from the top, so whoever's starting on the top has to make sure that they get those. And the wheels on the bus, they do go around and around, and they also have some surprisingly tight angles. But that said, not much to say about this one. It's just kind of everyone picks a side and starts hosing it down.
Yeah, similar to what we did in our first run for Powerwash. We kind of roughly have starting places or angles we start at, and then chip in as we get closer to the end, once things start to pop up or once we start seeing other issues. So just helps kind of delineate stuff a little bit so we're not doing each other's work over. So that can end up... There's not desync like before, which really made it where we were going over each other's work a lot more often, potentially, and we had to communicate stuff, but still, it's very easy to all be blasting the same thing by accident and be missing some other things that need attention.
One downside of this being an orange bus is that the indicator for dirt when you hit tab for dirt vision is also orange.
Yeah, they need to stop making orange maps.
What you gonna do?
Alright, windscreen.
All right.
But now it's just a scramble to find out. Okay, it's the 4th
Front
porthole.
left, porthole,
Got that.
Done.
Nice.
Nice.
Good cleanup.
Swift.
And just like before, there are boost jumps off of slanted things, so we'll be doing that occasionally. Alright, Krusty
Yeah, he
Krab.
was using that. Nope. Krusty Krab.
Krusty Krab.
And the
So,
chum bucket.
and the chum bucket,
Scaffold
which
is
is over
free.
there.
Don't forget about us.
Yeah, this is, again, we split up into 2 teams of 3, and each take one.
Is it teams of 3? I think there's 4 people over there.
Oh, is there?
I think we get shafted over here a little bit.
I keep my head down and I just clean the floor.
I mean, I focus on the signs, so I'm not part of the main building.
Yeah.
Sir, I
this
just work here.
this is one where where's my extension? This is one where the equipment, so like the scaffold and the ladder, are in pretty heavy demand, because if you look over here, there's this very tall sign that Angelica's cleaning, and then there's the top of the chum bucket, which the other two are cleaning. And you need the scaffold or ladder to get up there. It's possible to like slope jump up there, but it's really
hard.
difficult, and it's just easier to say, hey, give me the ladder.
Scaffolding's free. You need it.
Thank you.
It also does help that you can grab the scaffolding from anywhere, as long as you have a clean line of sight.
Yep.
You don't have to run all the way over and run all the way back. It makes it really convenient. And again, no desync. Anyone can grab it. Angelic doesn't have to be a waitress for all of us and shuffle things around and all that.
Yeah. That alone makes this a far more enjoyable run for us to, like, personally run.
Yeah.
Just because... Oh yeah, there's also this little stool, which we don't really use, unfortunately. It's good for a couple levels. Like, you saw in the previous level, I was doing a couple slope jumps off of it to get on top of the bus. So it's good for that, but...
We'll use it a little bit later.
Not good for what it's... It's not good for what it's supposed to be good for, but it's great for jumping off of.
I mean, that's kind of the speedrunner thing, like abusing physics and using things in unintended ways. So,
Yeah.
There's also... And we'll go over them in more depth during the actual run, but there's a lot of in-jokes for Spongebob in this, like Patrick's instrument.
Crouch check, by the way.
In general, the Spongebob DLC is really nice because it's very different from all the kind of usual power washing levels. It's just kind of a different aesthetic, and it's nice to do. It's a different take on it, which is just kind of nice as a runner to look at.
plus we're fish.
Yeah,
We are
it's
fish.
yeah. This is one of the this is the only DLC actually that gives us a different skin. As of right now, there are other DLCs on the way, but
We do not know if there's going to be any new skins.
Let's see if I can get back on the fist without the scaffolding.
I can release it to you in like a minute.
Yeah, I've got other parts of it to clean, so no rush.
so one of the questions you might have of this is, why are we using the nozzles we're using? Well, I use the 15 or the yellow because it's pretty accurate to where I'm pointing, and again, you just flex your wrist and sweep, and it kind of gets everything in front of you. That's one thing that the Trident was really good at. It's kind of a shame we don't have access to it. But honestly, I don't know that these levels would be that much faster with the Trident. You know, maybe a couple of minutes faster, but then we'd have to go back to dealing with desync.
I think it's kind of like heresy down here under the sea using a trident with Neptune around and stuff.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I can't believe they didn't give us a Trident skin when, like, the whole plot of the SpongeBob movie is getting King Neptune's trident back.
No, the movie's getting his crown.
Sorry, I haven't watched the movie in, like,
Not a real
15 years.
Get him out of here. Oh
It's okay.
my
I haven't
goodness.
watched the movie.
I'm a fake SpongeBob fan.
We promise we'll watch the movie beforehand so we know all
Scaffold's
the
free.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
I
actually
finally
play
made the
it
jump.
alongside the speedrun.
Yeah.
Please do not do that.
You can keep the scaffolding. I finally made the jump after like 20
I'll
tries.
need it.
I'll need it soon. Just not right now. Have we talked about soap much at all?
No, mainly because I haven't really had an excuse to use any soap. But
I mean, I used some soap on the bus earlier because like blasting the sides real quick was a nice way of just getting a little bit of cleanup done. And it's also good on larger surfaces as well, like say the chum bucket.
The main thing we'll see in this level is gonna be like the chimney or the weather vane on top because there's metal, and that's at least on the Krusty Krab half of it.
One thing to mention with it is there's a lot of different soaps you can have access to, but in the DLC it'll limit you to a couple of them. So you can't just... There's one for each kind of material, but we're not able to use those. It just kind of picks a couple that are most common and gives that as an option. So like the entirety of the chum bucket can be cleaned with one of them, I believe.
Yeah. Luckily, it is nice and does give us infinite soap,
Yes.
where part of the reason we didn't use it in our original 6-person run is because you had to buy soap in the main
Well, we're
levels.
cheap.
And ignore the fact that I have $25,000.
There is a limit.
There is a limit to soap. So,
Well, at least there was at the time. I think things.
Yeah.
rather than running into that limit, we've just decided to do that. But later levels, specifically the Murmur will be extensively soaped. Like there's so much metal in that level that using metal soap makes that it probably cuts at least 10 minutes off the time, if not more.
Yeah, that's one of the things is a lot of the dirt on these early levels, especially, is very weak strength dirt. So like the lower level nozzles that cover a wider area will get rid of it. And that's also why the soap isn't as necessary early on, and why the trident isn't as needed or as missed, because trident three nozzle, that's power.
All right.
I agree.
Enigma had a little bit of a robot moment there. The dumpster's done.
Oh.
Made sure I did that.
I'm gonna requisition the scaffold if
Oh,
that's okay.
hang on, I'm on it.
Get off.
Well, you can't take it anyways.
All right, go.
You had letters to clean it. Alright.
I'm struggling so much to make this jump.
Or gore the sign.
We didn't forget, we just didn't have the scaffold.
My y'all, the crusty crabbers.
We don't care about them.
Crusty
Any
crabbers.
crabbers in the chat?
You
Krusty
said
Krab is unfair, after
the
all.
dumpster is clean, yet the mayonnaise is not.
Oh, again, that's the hosts or host versus client side problem where Angelic can see that it's not clean, but I can't.
Left
Likely
base on the
story.
crusty crab is also unclean.
Left from your side, got it.
Yeah, it's done. Alright, chum buckets.
Yeah, who are these chum bucket people? What have they been doing? I don't know.
How is the glove not done? What have y'all been doing?
Bro, I'm trying.
What?
I haven't had the
glove is
scaffolding
done.
for a
So,
while.
I don't know.
It's done on my
Also,
screen.
the main
It's the
rim of the
back.
bucket.
Oh wait.
Stay back, I can't reach it.
Oh, well,
the main-
you'll have that now. I jumped off.
Everyone jumping around instead of grabbing the scaffold for the
Oh wait,
rim.
it's all on the top. I can't do that here. Never mind.
Got it. I'm a
Okay.
gamer.
Everybody
See?
up the stairs.
I got it.
Ah!
Everyone
Just
screwed
use an
up
extension.
everybody.
Hey,
We're good. We're done.
Hey, we did it.
I love the lemmings just jumping off, trying to wash the one bit.
All right, so now we actually have two very fast levels. So we have the paddy wagon, which is the paddy wagon, and
Yep.
this is where the dirt gets surprisingly difficult. It seems pretty easy, right? It's just a wagon covered in grime. The engine is really hard. It's covered in a ton of oil, and oil is famously very hard to get off without soap.
Literally
Yeah,
have
you
two
don't have
people
some-
working on one singular part of this vehicle because of that.
Yeah.
But,
Am I a robot still?
Nope,
Yeah,
you're good.
soap you may note we do not have access to on this level.
It is worth noting that on current patch, it appears that all soaps was unlocked for free play, of all varieties. The current patch broke multiplayer, so we are down patch.
Yep. Thankfully, down patching is very easy for this game.
Yep.
We figured it out. I say we. Angelic figured it out.
It was a group
She was a
effort.
good-
It was a group of one.
You hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
You can still hear it.
Good.
You just had a momentary.
Great. So the thing I wanted to add, with especially as we get into these small vehicles, is there's an issue of invisible dirt, as we refer to it, where it can be that you're looking at something and you're highlight viewing it, and there's dirt somewhere, but either it's not rendering for you or it's just some real tiny nook, and the lettuce is especially nasty for that, and the engine.
6 people blasting the engine is still not clean. What even part is
There we
that?
go.
We got it.
Hey!
All right. So now it's the level which we all agreed should have been the final level.
It's the coolest.
Because
level.
it's the coolest one. This is the invisible
Yeah, this is-
boatmobile, and you
It's
can
pretty
see
hard.
it. But as soon as we start
Everyone ready?
cleaning it,
3, 2, 1.
it goes away. So it gets really difficult to see this thing after a little bit.
Yeah, you just completely lose
Remember when I said
perspective.
invisible dirt? This is
Yeah.
invisible, not dirt,
They
which
just made it a
also
feature.
can be a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's
Worth
just called
noting that
clean.
each of the invisible sides culls the appearance of the dirt from the other side, so if you were looking at a surface that is theoretically clear, you still can't see dirt from the other side through it.
Fortunately, we
The
all
whole
have a
worst
vague
version.
idea of what this looks like. So,
It's shaped like a boat. Door
Door
handle.
handle.
left
It's
side.
the one on the front. I think.
Hey.
Yeah. And then
Scatter!
once it ends, it does actually outline it, so you can see it.
Yeah.
And now for the Murmur Lair. This is about half this run. I'm gonna be honest.
I need the
So
ladder.
Give me a
everything
second. Go for it.
is dirty. There's so much to do in this area that like it's
Alright,
it's literally not enough for everybody to pick one thing. Everybody has 2 or 3.
I pretty much have the computer the entire time.
Yeah.
It's really rough.
Yeah.
The pillars are a menace to society, and I shall clean them.
Yeah, we all just kind of guessed
Start
randomly, assigned randomly who was doing the pillars in Big Law through that straw.
Yeah.
No, I just kind of said I'd do it, and then I regretted it, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to curse anybody else with this, so...
I mean, you can always do the wall. That's what I assigned myself to.
No, I'm good.
Wall bad.
The wall
Now that
is
we're-
is in my opinion the coolest thing on this level.
Oh yeah, but it's also a lot of annoying angles.
Oh yeah.
One thing I was gonna say is, now that we're at the end of the run, do we want to explain what the story of the DLC even is at all?
I was trying to look for the antagonist of this DLC. Yes, there's an antagonist. There's again story to every part of this. B, do you wanna explain it? 'Cause you brought it up.
No, I was trying to pass it off to someone else.
I can do it.
Hey, go for it then.
Uh,
You're a good storyteller.
So the story of the DLC is that SpongeBob wakes up one morning and discovers that every house on Conch Street is dirty. And he's like, "Why is this happening? I thought I cleaned everything up with the leaf blower last night." So it's a callback to that one SpongeBob episode where he plays around with a leaf blower and winds up sucking up the entire ocean, and then it explodes and there's dirt all over Squidward's house. So you're meant to think, oh, it's that. And then the end of that level, he goes, "Wait, I cleaned everything up before I went to bed. So what was it?" And as you go through the level, you discover that it is the dirty Bubble who has escaped from captivity and really mucked everything up. So in a couple of levels, you can actually see him dancing around and poking out behind some of the buildings.
Specifically, the paddy wagon is where he appears. You just gotta look behind the chum bucket and he'll kind of smile at you and grimace and then fly away.
Yeah, when you finish the level, he flies out and flies away. And now that we're in the Murmur, it appears that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have successfully recaptured him because he is over there,
Frozen in tartar.
frozen in Tartar. I don't know why they picked Tartar.
I think they should
Play on
just...
Tartarus?
I mean, I think
They
it's
can
just
do
that
both.
they're
Let's
fish.
give them a lot of credit.
It should be noted, additionally, that he did not mess up this
I'm
room.
taking a ladder.
Mermaid Man and
Yeah,
Barnacle
take-
Boy are just filthy.
Yeah.
That is the story.
This level also is the greatest instance of the bug feature that we found right before our AGDQ 23 run, where if you pick something up, everybody in the level stands up. There's a couple of times during our practice runs where it has gone very badly because I've been trying to crouch underneath the table to clean it, and someone keeps picking a ladder up.
Some fists have been thrown. You know.
Yeah.
Metaphorically. And ladder's free on the wall if anybody wants it.
I can use that.
Luckily, if you are stuck under something where you can't stand up, you won't. So.
It'd be funnier if you would just stand up, you just get clipped inside of it.
Yeah, there is a bug.
Patrick's house moment.
Yeah, there is a bug where you can clip yourself inside Patrick's house. I'm gonna try to do that at the beginning of the level, of that level. But it's not useful at all. It in fact just hurts you because you can't clean the stuff from the inside.
You can get out easy enough at least, but it is very funny.
So with all of this watching that we're doing, we are almost 5 minutes into the level, and we're almost halfway done. And
The easier half.
I am running out of things to talk about. So this will be a primo donations moment when the run comes through. I'm very confident.
I mean, it's the cleanest run of the marathon if it gets in.
Yeah.
Boo. Boo.
Need to have a bunch of jokes on deck for times like this.
Do SpongeBob trivia with the host during this.
Oh yeah.
Deck like a boat.
Ooh.
How are we?
No, that's for the all vehicles run.
Oh, right.
We don't go on a
power
boat.
washing once in the
wait,
water.
yeah, we do.
You know what? That's a good conversation.
We're accelerating the water that's already present.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't work very well underwater.
A leaf blower exists in SpongeBob. How do you like?
How do
It's a
leaves
reef
even
blower.
exist?
School.
It's a
Oh,
reef
sorry,
blower.
reef blower. I'm gonna be, bro. If any SpongeBob fans watch this, I'm sorry.
The
alright,
SpongeBob
that's
fans
what
are
I'm
gonna
here
come
for.
after you. Oh my god.
It's notably the name of the Powerwash show we are given is the reef blower.
Yeah.
But
And
cute.
you wouldn't see it from my perspective, but in the back of SpongeBob's house in Conch Street, yeah, the reef blower from the episode is there,
And filthy.
and filthy, of course.
Yes.
Everything is very filthy. Along with the imagination box,
His bubble
the
stand.
bubble stand, Squidward's bicycle. Anything else in Conch Street? I mean, Patrick's house, but that's just like Patrick's house. Not really.
The stand in front of his SpongeBob's house.
Yeah, that's the bubble stand.
Yeah. Where he sells bubbles.
Oh, that's why it's called the
Bubble teaching
bubbles.
Gotta be something.
There's a
from the
trail
one
of
you've seen
snail
one.
slime.
That's the only reason I know it.
That's
It's
what
the meme.
house.
Is there? That's neat.
Yeah,
Yeah. So Gary was also running amok, secret antagonist.
just a little.
That was also the subplot of the Krusty Krab and Chum Bucket is Dirty Bubble got everything dirty, and then naturally, the only thing that Plankton could do is add even more dirt out of spite.
Yeah, I think part of that mentions that like Plankton comes out and sees the chum bucket all dirty, and so he's like, the crabs did this. I'm gonna go mess up the chum bucket or the Krusty Krab.
Which is why there's chum to clean up as well.
No, I was kind of wondering.
You
I am encountering the fun off-host bug where my dirt is not rendering, so I'm just kind of spraying randomly and hoping I get whatever I'm looking at.
Do your best.
They did add a reset dirt button, which takes the level and takes anything partially complete and makes it completely incomplete.
Don't like that
which-
actually.
Yeah, it seemed like the primary goal would be to allow you to continue an in-progress level without having to have the host send all of the partial data to the client.
That makes
to make
sense,
the
but also
connection go.
gross.
But yeah,
That's part of the reason why we don't start blasting, or we weren't blasting dirt when we doing our first run before everyone is loaded in, because if you do that, then they have to load all the dirt, which takes like 30 seconds for some reason. We don't have that
when the
problem
desync-
anymore.
Well, so they have to load all the dirt and then they have to unload the dirt that was cleaned.
Yeah.
So they basically have to like triple check all the dirt.
And
Oh, got
because of
the
the
table.
Trident desync, you could legitimately create more like dirt loading faster than it could load.
God, I am having the worst time with these chairs. I'm gonna leave that for later. That's a problem for someone else.
I'm gonna hope
Defeated
somebody
by
else
chairs.
walks over and cleans it.
I'll help.
Is a ladder in use right now? I just need to get up to the computer.
I don't even know where it is.
No one's claimed it, so it's gonna be mine as soon as I find
Last I
it.
saw it, oh no, it's not
Oh,
there.
the dirty bubble has it.
Nefarious.
Fiend.
So this is part of the reason that metal soap is so good. A lot of nooks and crannies to this
in
thing,
particular.
and they're all metal.
Mm-hmm. Whole entire
Except for
computer over here is
Last
metal.
bubble.
Except the screen. That's glass.
We do also have glass soap.
Wow.
Soap has an engaging mechanic where when you run out of soap, you press R and it refills your soap.
Gotta do an
And
active
that's-
reload.
Yep.
Gotta do a QTE.
You have
to
to
answer CAPTCHA.
Years of War, your soap.
Add it to the game.
Yo, the Hammer of Dawn, it'll get all those grease and stains.
I think they should.
If you do it wrong,
Hammer
it
of Dawn.
explodes, and you have to rebuy
Yeah,
it.
thank you for getting it a Cadial.
Oh,
So-
like Sunrise. You know, Dawn.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Whatever.
It should be the Hammer of Dove, because that's a soap.
Dawn is dish soap.
I don't know.
We're not cleaning any dishes.
But we
Yeah,
are
we're
cleaning a
cleaning
sponge.
things.
Yeah, well, you know what? They
House.
also use Dawn dish soap to clean wildlife after oil spills. So
I thought that was
It is
Dove.
not
getting
only dish soap.
No,
Yeah,
the doves
it's
are the
Dove.
things being clean.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dove is body wash.
Yeah, I've seen that ad with a penguin. Like,
I've seen it many times.
It always makes me sad.
That's the Sarah McLaughlin, right?
I think basically all soap is pretty much the same, so they can pretty easily expand into dish versus, you know,
bird.
Well,
versus bird versus oil spill in the ocean, you know.
Well,
Or
I
man
think the
versus food,
primary
dish
difference
versus
is
food.
whether or not the detergents in it are harmful to wildlife.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is what our speedruns turn into whenever we run out of things to talk about. It's just
Yeah, there's not that
madness.
much to talk about at the end of this. There's a lot of there's
Can I
soap.
get a reclean on the frozen tartar?
And everyone's just
can I
kinda
steal
picking
the
little
ladder going?
Yes. Yeah, I see a little bit of stuff that was under the ladder.
Also, the frozen tartar in general has some stuff, like the prison chamber has some stuff last time I checked, so.
There's like two
Is it
chairs in
more
the center
sober?
that aren't done. Angelics, if you could go blast those at some point.
Yeah, I'm grabbing the wall stuff though.
I'm working on the ceiling chute at the moment.
That's format.
Pillars are still a bit rough. The one nearest to you, Amy, still needs some work, just so you know.
I'm cleaning the table.
I am the one who tables.
We've reached 99%, and unfortunately, a ton of stuff is still dirty. So literally the final 1% in this game is so infuriating.
Yeah. When you use Germex and stuff, and it's 99.9%. That 0.1% is very, very strong, unfortunately.
That's simply just how much there is in this level.
Mm-hmm. And I'm still working on the computer.
Yep. Computer is very large.
It's the grooves on the back of it that are terrible. Someone using the ladder. I need that right
And
now.
ladder's free, it's on the backside of the outfits.
Ceiling chute's done.
Okay. One of the floor mounts for the pillars isn't clean, but it's not showing up in my end, so.
I see it. It's on mine.
Got it.
Down. Flasks need over once over.
There's something on the prison tartar that I cannot seem to get.
Probably on the top.
Hey,
Main
there we go.
table's done.
There's done.
Oh.
Check this. For one of the benefits that we never use because we just clean everything too fast is, what is this table called? Super acquaintances. You can go and click on stuff, and it'll actually flash red which one isn't done. Unfortunately, I
Just
think that
one.
only works for.
Pillar faces,
Uh,
super quaint's chairs, anchor and life buoy ornaments.
Oh, I know where those are.
Yeah, they're on the
Yeah.
computer.
Life
Squat
buoy,
up.
we need. I'm ladder.
It's just gonna stack people.
That was done.
Anchor should be done.
Yes.
Pillars, costume display base,
Alright, we
hand
can
of
see it now.
justice.
Yeah. I have the pillar face over here.
Hand of Justice over here.
And
It's
Done.
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 There we go. 33 and a half minutes. So.
Whoa! What the heck?
What?
I just went into the ceiling.
I think
That
I
was wild.
bumped you from the bottom. But anyway,
Yeah.
so that's the SpongeBob DLC. Here you can see all the costumes. I'm missing one. From the DLC or from SpongeBob, you know, the game, the show, and
Keep
yeah.
trying.
hope you enjoyed it, and hope to see you all at AGDQ 2024. Thank you very much. Everyone want to say gather in the center and say goodbye?
We're gonna get a super quaint's chair.
Yeah.
Be
Yep.
there or be square.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually works out. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So long.